Break it down. Break it down.
Come to my live stream.
Hello everybody, what's going on, guys? I hope everybody's doing well. Let me just open up here. What's up, guys, and welcome to another Taco Cast. I'm your host, Spanishdude, and I got all my wonderful friends here. We have Corey. Chadley will be with us in a moment. He's just doing something. Murphy's Law is having issues with his stuff. We're just waiting for him to start up. We got Beautiful Bench and Derek64. Guys, how are you today? I'm glad to see you all here hanging out with us. Guys, I want to make a quick announcement here quickly. Venge will be participating from now on to our podcast as a regular. Louis is away for school, and until Louis gets back, he will be our regular and filling in for Luis. Thank you very much, Venge, for that.
I'm honored. Thank you, man.
So, guys, while we wait, let's go ahead and let's just open things up a little smoothly. How's your month been for September? And what new games have you guys been playing off stream? Hey, Murphy! There you are.
Awesome. There he is.
What kind of games have you guys been playing off stream that just on your personal time? Volume box is on the screen. Yes, I'm just adjusting some volumes. But I got that. Thank you very much, Steffi. Also, just want to quickly say hello to everybody who's here. There's a lot of you. Steffi, Corey, Electro Gamer, hello. How are you? Sean's, what's up? How you doing? Ryan, what's up? Cupcake Dragon, hello. What's going on, Megan? How are you? Sir Nigel, you handsome man. Light Gazer, what's up? How you doing? Spectre, hello. Eponus, hello, how's it going? I'm glad to see you all. Devonte, hello, how's it going? Shadow, how you doing, buddy? Kristen, what's up? Jazz, how are you? Mike, welcome. If I missed anybody, hello, welcome to the podcast. Let's get started. So please,
You're all
gentlemen,
lovely, beautiful people.
gentlemen, tell me, how has your month been, and what games are you playing off stream for your own leisure purposes? Go ahead, Corey.
My month's been pretty good. It's been busy and chaotic and whatnot, but it's been good. What have I been playing off stream? I've been playing Hyrule Warriors on the Switch.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, it is a fantastic one. I've been playing some Yoku's Island Adventure.
Oh, nice.
Picked that up on the Switch for like $10 one day. It's a pretty nice little chill game. And I've been playing Rayman Legends a lot. That's a lot of fun to just kind of pick up and not have to put a lot of time and effort into, and just kind of chill out.
Nice.
Yeah, that's most of what I've been playing off stream.
Nice. Guys, don't mind if you see the Streamlabs thing loading up. It's just for the taco pesos. I'm just gonna give. I'm gonna be doing taco pesos still. There will be alerts that are disabled, so don't think you can use the alerts. Okay. While we wait for Murphy to get ready, are you ready, Murphy? Are you all right?
Ask somebody else real quick.
Okay, Benj, tell me, what games have you been playing, my friend? Please go ahead.
Okay, well, it has been a crazy week. I've been really busy. It was hard to kind of like play a whole lot of stuff due to having to be a counselor, motivator, coach, assistant, employee. It was just a lot. But one thing that I do have to share, because this has been like one of the biggest highlights of my week. And then I'll get into the game. Because there was a kid that I was working with for reading an intervention, right? And that was the first time I ever done anything like that. And I was stressing out because I had no idea if I would even be able to, be effective in that area, because I never done it before. And it's so awesome that, I wound up getting word from, his teacher that his writing has improved drastically when I compare it to what he was doing in the beginning. So I just had to put that positive out there. So the game that I have been playing, that I've been having a lot of fun with, I remember there was one time this month that I got addicted to playing Rocket League. Very fun and amusing game. Yeah.
That's awesome. And Derek, how about you, my friend? What have you been playing, and how's your month been?
My month, I don't want to bring everybody down. My month's been a little bit on the rough side just because trying to find work. That's just, I guess, it's that time of year. But, fingers crossed. Maybe I'll get a couple calls tomorrow. You never know. But in lieu of that, I've been playing a lot of Star Ocean till the end of time because I've been on this big JRPG kick. This is the game right here. It's a 2-disc game on the PS2. It's a lot of fun, man. And I feel like a lot of people haven't even really heard about the series in general.
Yep.
But it's super cheap. To get it complete is like not even more than $15. If you get a chance to play it, man. It's a lot of fun. It's a good game.
And it's on PS4 now too.
Nice.
Oh, well, there you go, man.
There it is.
You said Star Ocean, right?
I said Star Ocean.
Oh, I love the one on the PSP. I just had to bring that up. That was really good.
Murphy,
that was the remake.
Are you set?
Oh yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right. How has your month been, and what games are you playing off stream?
It's been an interesting month. I started college back in late August and stuff like that, and so I've been trying to adjust to having a full-time job plus going to school and stuff like that. It's been crazy. As far as games I've been playing, primarily I've messed around with Street Fighter V Arcade Edition. Other than that, the stuff that I do on stream, I haven't had time to play much else.
Hey, sometimes you get busy, right? It's
That's
fine.
right.
I understand. You know what? My month's been super busy. We're just adjusting. Like I said, Louis back to school, so we're all trying to adjust to our schedules. I've gotten more hours now in the sense of I don't have a third person anymore, because as most of you know, I own my own business, and there's usually 3 of us working. Louis works for me, so now that he's off to school, I have to take over his hours and his job. But I mean, other than being busy, it hasn't been too bad. We also hit a big point in the stream this month, which is we reached 3K, so that was awesome.
GG.
Yeah, so thank you very much. I appreciate that. And funny that you should say that, Derek, because I'm actually playing Star Ocean on the PS1.
Oh, love that game.
Dude.
Right?
I have a copy of it somewhere around here too.
So that's exactly what I've been playing. I've been playing with some friends. They've been watching me and helping me out. Because of off-stream type thing, just kind of enjoying ourselves. They've been helping it because I don't know much about the game. So they've been really awesome to just kind of like step by step. Hey, where do I go from here? And they've been really helpful. So that's been good. Also been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14 online. Again, with some friends. They got me really addicted. So I play that a lot too. And then for myself, I've been actually playing a lot of that new, what is it called? The Brawler package on the Switch.
The beat 'em up.
Oh, the beat 'em up collection.
Yeah. So I've been playing I've been playing a lot of that. That's been fun. I play by myself because you know what? Online is ridiculous because some people don't have good internet and it just drags down. It's bad. Other than that though, it's been really nice. All right, guys. Well, I know you guys are here for all the topics and all that stuff, so let's go ahead now that we know what's going on in everybody's lives. Let's start with the first, right? 40 already? My God, like, holy 40 likes, man. Guys, that's amazing.
40 like hype?
The 40 like hype. Let me give you guys some taco pistols. There you go, man. 2,500. Okay, so a lot of news has happened over this month. A lot, like incredibly amounts. I had to pick the best ones because we don't get a lot of time. So, what are your guys' takes on the PS1 Classic that they announced? And will you guys be getting one? So, Corey, if you want to go ahead and start us off.
I think the PS1 Classic is a fantastic idea. I think that it's not necessarily like in reaction to Nintendo specifically, because everyone's done these. Sega's been doing these for years now. There's an Atari one and all these stuff. It is a more direct reaction to Nintendo with their success of the classics and whatnot. So I'm really excited for it because I think it'll push. Sony's not going to put out something crap. Yeah, like Sega's stuff wasn't done by Sega. That was done by At Games or AT Games or whatever it is.
Yeah, At Games.
Third party garbage crap. Honestly, Sony's not going to allow that to happen. So I think it will be a direct competitor to the classics in this sense, though, and I think it's a really great thing because I've been a Sony fanboy forever until recently when I've become more of a Nintendo fanboy. But but I think it's great, and I will be getting one. I just didn't. I'll get one release more, later or something. I'll check GameStop when they come out and see if they have an extra one and grab one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, other than it not coming with an AC adapter.
Well, yeah, right. Murphy, what about you, my friend? Will you be picking one up? And what are your thoughts on the PS1 Classic?
I'm waiting to see what games are going to be on it. I haven't seen. I know they put out. I think they said Tekken 3 was going to be on it. I think I saw like a list of like 3 games. I was a big fan of the PlayStation 1 as well. I guess. The price bump up to $100 for a classic mini is a little questionable. I don't want to say already that it's not worth it. Yeah. But I think that whenever you start considering the price, it's like, okay, you really got to weigh the fun of the games versus the price. I
didn't know they raised the price. Wow.
Yeah, I think they're starting up at $99.
Yeah, it's $99.
Yeah, it's $99. Yeah.
But,
I mean, it's not terrible. I think they said it's supposed to be 23 games total,
something like that. Yeah,
something.
Yeah, okay. And so I mean, there were some great PS1 games. I mean, there was all the Resident Evil series that was on it. There was Metal Gear Solid, lots of good stuff. So I hope to see some of that on there. And if they got the right stuff, I'll definitely get one.
Yeah. Just a quick thing, viewers, if you have any questions for us, please at myself. So either put at Spanishdude. And then ask the question. I will take those questions, and at the end of all the questions I have for the podcast, I will be answering all viewer questions. So do not worry. I do see your questions. Make sure you ping me, and I will add them to the list here. And then at the end of the podcast, we will answer all your questions as much as you can. And I believe, Corey, you did say you will be leaving early because you have some things to do, which is fine. Not a big deal. I mean, you're failing the podcast, so don't worry about it. But
I've let all of my loyal subjects. I mean,
okay, Benj. So, what about you, my friend? What are your takes on the PS1, and are you getting one?
Well, this is a tough one. Well, actually, it isn't, cause like I was kind of on the fence. Honestly, I was kind of on the fence about it. Reason why I say that, I know it's like every other, company kind of like did the same thing, but when I look at the timing, it's like it seems less of a coincidence to me, because you have the amazing success of the SNES Classic. Then you have, the NES Classic, and now you have the PlayStation 1 Mini Classic. Now, just to quickly rewind.
Chadley appeared.
Chadley appeared.
The Wii, the Nintendo Wii just came out of nowhere and literally just had astronomical success upon the launch, and then out of nowhere you see Sony and Xbox kind of like follow the trend, right? So they do their own motion controls thing. Now you have the rise of all these minis, and Nintendo was the trending topic at the time. So here they come. Now I love Sony, but they're really gonna have to give me a nice array of games for me to be interested in that, because like obviously Metal Gear Solid 2 is a really big one for me. I was like, that game was astronomically fun for me. What other games? I'm thinking maybe the classic Spyro, Tekken 3 is a given. Crash Bandicoot, even though like they have the better remake, so it's kind of like, to be honest, those games are kind of like, why would you?
Yeah, I don't think Spyro or
Crash Bandicoot
should be on there. They probably will, but I don't think they should.
Right. So maybe, hopefully, they put something else in there. But I would really like to see Rapper Parappa. Holy crap! Like, if I see that,
Rapper the Rap is awesome, dude.
If I see all three of those, that may actually like sway my opinion on it. Because, I mean, PlayStation did have a lot of awesome games, so it's all going to come down to that mix. Is it going to be a nice mix of games? If I see Rapper Parappa, I'm sold.
Boom.
Boom.
Boom. Derek, what about you, brother? Will you be picking it up, and what are your thoughts on it?
When they announced the PlayStation 1 Mini, I kind of had this weird feeling like, wow, it never crossed my mind, but at the same time, it's like, wow, what took them so long? Like the last 2 years, and then supposedly there's going to be a Nintendo 64 Mini. The NES Mini and the SNES Mini, I didn't even like consider it, because I mean, as you guys could tell, I'm a big collector, so I'm kind of a purist. But the thing is, a lot of the games that they already had on the Super Nintendo and the NES was like something I, for the most part, already had. So I really didn't consider on picking it up. The PlayStation 1, though, I didn't spend a lot of time with it as a kid. I didn't really mess with it until I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And the PS1, I might, depending on what other games they announced. Right now, I got a list. I know it's Wild Arms, Ridge Racer Type 4. They got Final Fantasy 7, Tekken 3, and Jumping Flash. And to be honest, probably Wild Arms and Final Fantasy 7 would be the only games I'm kind of interested in, to be perfectly honest. And that's because, and I'm going to be devil's advocate here, Final Fantasy 7 is not one of my favorite Final Fantasy games.
Have a good day, Derek. Have a good one. Bye.
You're not buying it on the Switch.
Well, I was thinking about
going.
trying it again. I was thinking about going at it with a pair of fresh eyes on the Switch. Let's see if I still retain that same kind of feeling. But I mean, that being said, you know, Final Fantasy VII is going to come out on the Switch. Final Fantasy VII is also going to be available on the Mini.
Everything.
So, I mean, everything pretty much. So you kind of got your
Basically.
pick of the litter.
Microwave will be next, like
And
Doom.
microwave, and then the toaster with the Wi-Fi. Yeah, definitely. It's pretty much like, I mean, you can get it a la carte on the Switch versus this. Now, what my kind of perspective is, I think it's cool that they're including 2 controllers. I don't know if the other minis on Nintendo had 2 controllers.
SNES did.
The SNES did? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
then my perspective is the fact that since they're using the original PlayStation controllers without the DualShocks, I
Yeah.
think that means
No way of escape.
yeah, well, they have to kind of go into a very particular set of games that they have in that PlayStation 1 library and not just any other game. So I think they might be able to get they might be able to have a collection of so many games that can reach, you know, several different types of niche audiences. And I think that would be the make or break for me to kind of see if I actually want to take the time to pick one up. As of right now, I'm in the middle of the road. I'm not on either side because I want to know what other games they're gonna have. Because at the end of the day, that's what's gonna be what matters. So
Yeah. No, for sure.
Hopefully
Charlie,
you can
Exactly.
mod it
what-
like the others.
yeah. What about you, my friend? Will you be picking up a PS1, and what are your thoughts on it?
Who's your friend?
I said you, Charlie. Oh, here it
Which
was, my
one
you
friend.
were giving everybody, everybody, you were saying their names, so that's why it was confusing. I'm actually, because I've never owned a PlayStation, so, and I have a PlayStation 1 was given to me, but I haven't been able to really use it because I don't have all the cords for it. So I don't know. I'm kind of excited about it. Especially depending on what type of games come out. I remember like renting the PlayStation back in the day from Blockbuster when they used to still rent out consoles and things.
didn't you have to
So,
leave like a $150 deposit or something like
Oh,
that?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
crazy.
It was a
And
lot.
then
Yeah,
I think
it was
they
crazy.
eventually lowered that, I believe. But somehow I convinced my parents to let me rent it once or twice. So, but yes, I mean I enjoyed it. I just never got into PlayStation after renting it. But for $100, I mean, if they throw in some really good games, like I'd buy it. I would pick it up because I just never had the opportunity to really play any of the older PlayStation games.
No, for sure. See, PlayStation has a nice area in my heart because, my parents have bought. Yeah, well, like they when they first came to Canada, they bought us the NES, right? So that one holds a special place. Then our first like real big Christmas, they bought us the SNES. Then after that, we never got any other consoles. We kind of just sat there and twiddled our thumbs. Then one Christmas, my dad was just like, you know, it's time to get something. And for Christmas, they threw in the PS1. And me and my brother like stacked up the collection with the PS1. We had like over 200 games, you know, stacks and stacks of games. So believe me, it hurt when they came in and stole that from us.
Oh wow.
So, yeah.
Good.
So the
Dang,
fact that they're
right.
bringing it out again really excites me. Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna pick one up. Everybody knows that I had my goal for that. So I'm excited to pick one up. The only thing I'm not excited for is they put a lot of racing games in there, and I'm just like, I'm not a racing guy. So I'm really hoping that
Same.
we're getting some good games. Again, if it's true and Metal Gear Solid is on there, and I'm pretty sure it will be, that's gonna be great. But then again,
do you think they'll have
but-
like Castlevania on there?
possibly, I think so.
That's-
I
It
mean,
needs to have Crash Bandicoot.
yeah. I mean, the biggest issue I'm looking at with the PS1 is that, see, Metal Gear Solid uses DualShock. You're not getting DualShock with these
Ah,
controls.
see, then that might be the. I think that's what it is.
Hold on now.
Because
This may not be Nintendo, but you know what they could do? They could sell additional controllers with.
well, that's the thing.
DualShock, the
Here-
DualShock analog.
Here's the thing that I'm wondering. See, that doesn't kill me though, because I was wondering, are they gonna use, like Nintendo, a special connection or a USB connection for the controls, or will there be the original connection that I can take my PS2 control and just plug it in and off we go? Because I have tons of PS2 controls.
Yeah, that would be really sweet.
You know, I know they would lose
would
money,
be nice.
and the smart thing would be to use a USB or something. So then we had no choice but to buy the controls. But
Right.
if they use the original one, that would be pretty sweet. I would be very happy if I got that.
Yeah.
You
That
know.
would be nice.
What was I gonna say? Okay, so we got. So okay, how about this? What are you guys' thoughts on the rumor on the so-called N64 Mini that was kind of thrown out a little bit more out there? And do you think that if they do this, if Nintendo does do this, is it to compete with the PS1 Classic, knowing that they have announced theirs? So, Corey?
So here's my thought. First of all, the N64 Classic is in no way coincidental with the PlayStation Classic, because it's only coincidental with the success of their, of the previous products, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The rumors coming out, honestly, are less coincidental because they're people coming out and saying it, right? So it's not like suddenly a Nintendo executive was like, "Shh, put this out and let people know because we don't want them to forget that we exist and we're about to put stuff out." So the rumors, rumor mills, they run off of user-generated rumors. There's usually a truth to them, a grain of salt or something that's truth, right? This is, it's probably going to happen. We know it's probably going to happen. The timing of the big rumors and all, the rumors were existing months back. We saw those controller patents, the filings for the controller patents, which some of them have proven to be true. So now we have more reason to believe that they're true. So again, it's timing, it's coincidental, but it's not anything to do with specifically because Sony came out. Because Sony came out and said, "Hey, we're doing a thing. We're putting one out in like 2 months, whatever, or whatever it is." So now Nintendo suddenly started producing a 64 Classic. That's not how the world works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think I think the timing of the rumors and stuff are coincidental because people are just, it's on their minds now.
It's on their minds because of the PS1 Classic.
But what do I think of the rumors though? I'm excited. I really hope they do it. Is one I never owned myself.
Yeah.
I had friends that had them and all, and so I played a lot of them, but like I never owned one.
Yeah.
So this would be one that I'd be really interested in getting as well.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. So that's my little thought of it.
Chadley, what about you, my friend? What are your thoughts on this rumor? And do you think it's to compete with the PS1, or is it just coincidence?
I think so. Way back when, before all these classics came out, there was there's public records that we know that they were planning to do 3 systems. So everyone assumed it was going to be NES, Super Nintendo, and the N64. So it was just a matter of time before they actually came out with the N64 version. So I feel that maybe the PlayStation might have pushed their timeline so that they would be faster, but it was definitely going to be coming. Everybody knows that it would be coming eventually. So, but yeah, I'm excited too. I still have the original console. The N64 was a system that I had gotten, but I didn't really get into too much because at the same time that was around the time when PC gaming kind of took off. So then I got more into PC gaming and like building my own computers, and like I was learning how to basically do stuff with PCs and like repair them and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of like switched focus on like what types of games and what platform I would play on. So I'm kind of excited for the Mini because those minis make it really easy to just pick up a cheap system that's basically distributed by an official company and not just these off the wall plug and plays that are crap, basically. That have games on it that you really enjoy to play, but they just don't feel right. And with the NES Classic, the Super Nintendo Classic, for the most part, the games they look pretty much like what they did back in the day. And I'm more than happy with what Nintendo has come out with so far. I'm excited to see if the PlayStation has the same quality. And then also the Genesis, like there's the stuff about Genesis. So I'm sorry if I'm jumping out of order here.
No problem.
If we were going to bring up the Genesis, like I would love to have the Genesis Mini, especially now that AT Games is not developing the software for it.
Yeah.
and it's some other company. I think Sega has finally realized that they need somebody else to do the software because the other systems were terrible from what I've heard. So
I believe they're doing it in-house. That's just what I've heard after the
okay. Yeah.
So,
which makes sense. I mean, they have their own programmers and stuff, so it's like, why not? You know, they're the most familiar with their older hardware too. So
yeah,
if they're gonna build a emulator from scratch, like from the ground up or whatever, they'd be the ones to do it. Like, that'd be a smart move, not to have AT games involved. But anyway, back to the N64. I'll probably still pick it up because I already have the NES Classic. I already have the Super Nintendo Classic. So at this point, like, I'm basically collecting all of the classic systems.
They're not Pokemon, geez.
They're not Pokemon.
Not yet.
Not yet, eh? Murphy, what about you, good sir? What are your thoughts on the N64 Mini? And do you think it's going to compete with the PS1, or is it just coincidence?
I mean, I'm very excited about it. I mean, I would honestly say that I'm more excited for the N64 Mini than I am the PlayStation 1. And it's really hard to say because the PlayStation had a lot of good games as well. But, you know, it's just, you know, the N64 had a lot of amazing stuff on it, man. It had, you know, of course, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I mean, and then you had Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. That was a fun game. Of course, Super Mario 64. They're just Killer Instinct Gold. I mean, there's just a lot of diverse games, a lot of fun stuff to do on that. And just many more that I, you know, there were just so much fun stuff on that system. As far as it being a coincidence, I don't think that it is. I mean, I think it's just a timing deal myself. You know, it's. Yeah. But again, the same thing with the play. As I said with the PlayStation, it's just the lineup. If the lineup is good, I actually I still own my Nintendo 64, and so that would be the weird thing because the games that they put on it, they'd have to be really good. You know, I'd have to have a lot of stuff that I don't have. That's weird area with the Nintendo 64 for me.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Benj, what about you, good sir?
All right. I only have one question. Why not? I mean, you got the SNES Classic. If they did the NES Classic, why not just complete the trifecta and do it? I mean, like, and I'm not even gonna lie to you right now, like, because of the fact that there's a lot of stuff going on with me. Like, for one, my 64 died on me, so I need to get another one. And honestly, I'm you know, my new PC is on the works. They're putting it together as we speak, and they'll be sending it to me. So it was quite pricey. So I'm not going to be able to like buy a whole lot of the games that I right now because I'm gonna have to save up a bit. So I mean, like, if the Classic winds up putting together a really strong package which I feel like they will do, like, you have all the popular ones including all the big Mario titles, I mean I'm definitely gonna get it because, hey, it's the Nintendo 64 and they have just a strong lineup. And if they take advantage of that, it's definitely going to be able to compete with the PS1 Classic just due to the fact that there was so many big games on the 64. So it's going to happen. I mean, I already knew it was going to happen the moment that the NES Classic was announced. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it.
Yeah, for sure. Derek, what about you, buddy?
So, since 64 is in my name, essentially,
you're not gonna get it.
You don't want it.
Well, first of all, I gotta ask, does it light up? Because my Nintendo 64 lights up. And, well, no, irrelevant. Actually,
That's a light up.
I mean,
That's funny.
I mean, I got my 64. I got it back there. I got it modded and everything. I got it all decked out. And I know that the Mini will have HD output and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess what it comes back down to is the games. Although, like, this is something that, well, I mean, I guess I wouldn't know what the PlayStation 1 Mini as to the 64. My thing would be, I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really interesting that on the Super Nintendo Mini that they actually did the first official release of Star Fox 2
Yeah.
on the Mini, and they
Somebody unmuted himself. Unplugged himself.
He unplugged himself.
Excuse me while we have technical
It was me.
difficulties, guys.
It was me. Why
It's too
Why
real.
it happens. So, no, but I guess what I'm kind of thinking is, well, I mean, as somebody who already has a ton of games, unless it's offering something for me differently, I'm probably not really gonna plan on investing unless it offers something that's kind of outside the box, similar to like Star Fox, Star Fox 2. Because I think it is really interesting, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the Nintendo 64 because if Nintendo taught me anything, it's putting 64 at the end of something just makes it sound cooler. And that's why I'm Derek 64, not Derek 128 or 16. But I mean, I guess that's what it just comes down to. What are they going to say? What games is it going to have? And are they going to have any games that you couldn't have, I guess originally back in the day? I don't know what that would be. Like Star Fox 2, that makes sense. I mean, everybody knows about that. I don't know. What are some games that would be like almost completely developed but never came out? I guess that's where that would have to go.
Paper Mario 2.
Did they do that?
No, they didn't.
They
They
never
didn't?
did. No, they
I
didn't.
mean, wait. I meant Super Mario RPG 2. I'm sorry.
Oh, there we
people
go.
think became Paper Mario, but technically it didn't.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, or Earthbound Mother 3 or whatever. Like, if they did
Yeah.
something like that, I think that would be awesome. I think that would be, why wouldn't anybody want to get a well, I mean, a lot of people looking to try to get a game that they wouldn't be able to get, alternatively, especially since Nintendo put the ban hammer on ROM sites and stuff, it's kind of the last of a dying breed. So if they made something like that available that you couldn't get in any other form factor, then I would consider. But as of right now, with the little bit that we know, I gotta say probably not too interested at this time.
Okay.
That's just me.
Oh, of course. Now you can leave.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
So, for myself, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Everybody knows that I got my N64 donated to me by another a gaming store. Check out Crown Point Games, by the way, guys. Super awesome guys. Donate everything to us. What was I gonna say? So they did donate that to me. They donated a couple of games to me for the N64, but we also bought the EverDrive, and I have all the games already. So I'm slipping a lot of things on the EverDrive. So I'm kind of, again, it's like what Derek said. It's going to have HDMI, so that kind of like really gets me excited to have.
Oh.
And just the thought of having it would be really cool. Do I think it's there to compete with the PS1? I mean,
Not really.
not really, because I feel like they've been working on it, and it's always been like Corey said, it's always just been just rumors. We've seen patents and all that stuff. It's always just been a rumor. I
I feel
think
like
that
we knew about it before the PlayStation 1
We
was
did.
no,
even
it's
out.
true. We did.
We knew about it. We knew these rumors long before that.
Yeah, and I feel that what they've done is basically PlayStation's like, oh look, here it is. It's coming for Christmas. Blah 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 blah. Come buy it. And then everybody's like, oh well, Nintendo's gonna do it now too. But Nintendo hasn't really said anything. And even if they did, we already knew that there's possibility of having it in the works anyway.
Yeah, no
so
surprise.
Yeah,
So
it's
there's no
not,
real
it'd be more of a
surprise.
surprise if they didn't do it, really.
Yep.
yeah. What did I do with my list? I closed it. Okay.
Hey, the bottom line is once the Nintendo 64 one comes out, you're gonna have to not gonna be able to get one at first anyway. So
So the next one is
Ooh, good one.
Okay, what do you guys think of the mobile game? See, I don't even know how to pronounce this game.
I guess it's
Dragalia.
Dragalia. Dragalia Lost
Yeah.
on the Switch. So what are you? I'm just telling you now. I'm not gonna answer this one because I haven't played it, and I just remember glimpsely seeing it. But if you guys have played it, there it is. What do you guys think of it? And that it's on the Switch already, right? It's already on the Switch.
No,
Or it's coming.
No, this is
It's
Or
mobile
it's-
game only.
Mobile
that
game
was
only.
me.
Okay.
Yeah. Mobile game
Hashtag
only.
misinformation. I'm sorry.
By
Okay.
Nintendo. Right?
Okay, so this mobile game then, what do you guys think of it? Like, like I said, I haven't played it, so I don't know much about it. Corey, please tell me, inform me.
So, first of all, just as overall impression, I'm really enjoying it. I don't get really with mobile games. I'll find one that I really like for a little while, and then I'll I won't get really into it, and then I'll just get over it really quick. But Dragalia Lost is like a really chill, like action RPG. It's just like every other mobile game, except that it's got a little bit of Nintendo polish on it, honestly. And you can turn into a dragon.
Yay!
I really can't say much else. It's a lot of fun though. It's got real-time co-op play, right? Like up to 4 players. Like Rigo, if you got the game, you give me your friend code, and we can actually play together live through the mobile game and do a mission co-op. So like it's really sweet. I've been having a lot of fun doing that. It's definitely one of the more interesting mobile games for me, but it's still a mobile game. It's still got all the gacha. It's still got all the we want you to buy premium currency, but it's got that Nintendo polish on it. And that's what really turns me onto it. Like I really enjoy it a lot. And that's why I think I'll play it for a little bit more than I play most mobile games. But yeah, I can rave on and all about it. I'll let somebody else rave on about it.
Chadlu, have you heard anything about this? Do you know anything
No,
about
this
this?
is
This is
no,
new
it's
territory for you?
totally new territory for me. When I just pulled it up, I was like, oh, okay, so it's a mobile game. That's another mobile game coming out by Nintendo. It seems like they're doing more and more with this mobile space as a way to try to get their name to the casual gamer again. Then if people like their mobile games, then people are going to be more inclined to look into their console stuff too. So
Yeah.
but I mean, they've been doing great. I mean, I was hooked on what was that one Mario Run for a day.
Yeah, I played that for a long time.
But yeah, I mean, if they're, I might check it out. I'm not much of a mobile gamer anymore because it sucked too much of my life out when I first started doing it. But yeah. So I don't really.
Yeah.
So.
What about you, Murphy? Have you heard? Well, did you already know about this, or is it something new to you?
No, it's something new to me as well, and I'm not big into mobile games. I've messed around with a few. I guess speaking of Nintendo mobile, I tried out the Miitomo whenever it came out, and it was okay at first, and then I really quickly just forgot about it. It was there. I tried it out. It was fun for a little bit, and then it was just gone. And it basically ended up becoming an extra app on my phone. It didn't keep my attention very well, and other than that, I mean that's pretty much it.
Venge, seeing as this was your question, do you know much about this game?
Don't help me right now.
Also, he starts out, no, I don't know nothing about it. I don't know nothing about it.
Actually, I played some of it, and the reason why I was so interested in bringing this up, hashtag misinformation, because I was like thinking that like this would be coming out on the Switch, so that's on me. I cannot tell a lie. So basically I got it kind of mixed up because I was almost thinking like, okay, this could come out on the Switch, but it's a mobile game that's actually branded by Nintendo. And the reason why I brought this up is because of the potential controversy that surrounds it, because of the whole issue with microtransactions and things like that. And Miyamoto himself even warned like publishers that, you know, you have to be careful about being too money hungry. Sudden, we are starting to see them be more open to mobile games that includes microtransactions. But I feel as though it is controversial, but at the same time, there's a few things you have to think about, because like, if you look at how the gaming industry has grown over the years, it's almost as if, you know, developers, console creators, publishers, they kind of get sucked into it because that's what's helping keep them afloat.
Yeah.
And microtransactions, when I look at that, there is either going to be a good thing or a bad thing. That's what most people will say. It's either good or bad. Most people will look at it and say it's bad. When I look at microtransactions, it's definitely a very controversial thing because it's something that can be abused. But when I look at microtransactions, especially DLC, because they kind of go hand in hand, it's the execution of it that's going to raise eyebrows. A good example of this, which really ticked me off back when I was doing more gaming than anything, was Capcom Azura's Wrath. Yes, I'm talking to you. I'm gonna roast you. So Capcom, they made this game and they trolled the heck out of me. They said,
They're like,
to get the true ending, you have to get an S rank. I put in all that work, got the S rank, and then all of a sudden the cutscene fades out, and then all of a sudden I get a message saying, you need to purchase the DLC to get the true ending. And I'm like,
you got rickrolled.
I'm like, dude, and this was on Christmas Day.
Oh, wow.
Like, what are you doing? And so I'm sitting there with, like, I drew many blanks. So, but then you have other companies that don't push it that far. Like, one of the things that was intrigued me when it came to the article was the fact that the person that reviewed the game, since he played it heavily, mentioned that Nintendo, they know how controversial that is, and they use microtransactions in a way not to impede the progress of enjoying the game, meaning like money to progress. Like the microtransactions is not forcing you to use it in order to enjoy it. It's like almost more of an alternative thing. You don't necessarily need it to enjoy it. Because this reminds me of my fighting game hero, Harada, the genius behind the Tekken series, and how he was sub-published Bandai Namco, because if he didn't go, follow through with their objective, then they're not going to get the resources needed to continue to support the game. So I kind of blame the direction that the gaming industry headed as a whole. And if Nintendo's going to do this, they got to make sure to do this right, because they already said, you got to be careful when it comes to nickel and diming people. So proper execution is crucial.
For sure. Derek, what about you, buddy?
Well, I'm gonna have a pretty anemic response. I mean, because I double checked the game, because when I saw the question on the list, it said on the Switch, which I said, is this supposed to be on mobile? So, and it's not coming to Switch, at least not right now. Is that planned? So, I don't have a cell phone. I don't have a phone. That's normal for me. So I really haven't played the game. I did have a cell phone around the time Mario Runner came out, and like Chad Lee played it for like a day, the light version. You know, actually, but I did want to bring up a question. I guess Corey would know because he's clearly spent the most time with it. Does it use or need, like, does it have that DRM where you need to constantly be connected? Because I think that would be the make or break for it.
I don't know. I'd be willing to say yes because there is a lot of interconnectivity and stuff. And I mean it's like every other mobile game. I mean, if typical mobile games require it, I'm gonna say it probably does. Like it's not much different than most mobile games in the fact that it's a mobile game. It's fun. I enjoy it. It's got some really cool things to it. Like I said, it's got that Nintendo polish, but it's still a mobile game. So yeah, you probably do. I haven't really had a chance to be out somewhere in the middle of nowhere in the middle of something, you know, and not have a connection at all.
Yeah.
To know.
Well, because I know a lot of people they like either like using their Wi-Fi or they'll just turn their data off. Like if they're at like work or something, they want to play on their break, but they don't want to use their data. Like because if that's the case, if the game just uses a lot of data because of the DRM or something like that, like Mario Runner did.
Yeah, I mean. Probably. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to. It's only been out a week or something, less than that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess at this point, like, I don't really have much of an opinion. I mean, it looks like
Steffi's
a
gonna
RPG.
check for us.
Steph is gonna check. She's gonna check.
I mean, I haven't played it. It looks like a nice little colorful game. But I don't really mess with mobile games.
We got Chaz says, "Oh, this game does require internet."
Ooh.
He's been playing it way more than me. He's a friend of mine. He's been playing it like a lot more than me, and he's really having a good time with it. So yeah, it's too connected, he says. And yeah, Stephanie says yeah, connected.
Okay.
It makes sense. There's a lot of interconnectivity with the game in general, so it makes sense that you would.
Okay.
Nice.
It's a cell phone game, though, right? I mean,
it's a mobile game.
Typical understanding, other than the cases where people want to turn off their data or something. The typical case is that you're going to have an active connection.
Yeah.
So like needing an internet connection isn't too bad, personally, in my opinion, for a mobile game. When you're talking about for anything else, for like a Switch game, if you're talking about like a single player offline Switch game needs to have has to have an internet connection, then I might have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, I guess the question would be then is this game a single player game or is it like just uniformly?
It's single and mobile. I mean, single and multiplayer.
So you can, I guess, like, can you play it offline? I guess is the
no, you can't. That's what we were just saying.
So no, absolutely not. Okay.
Need internet connection to play the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, some craziness has happened. What was it? This week? I think it was this week.
Yes.
Tuesday. So Sony finally, after so long, gave in and decided cross-platforming for online. What are your thoughts on this? And please tell me you agree with me when you say it's about effing time, Sony. What do you got to say, Mr. Corey? Go.
Well, first thing is it's about freaking time, right? There was no reason for not doing it, but I will say, no matter what, I'm still a little bit annoyed at their response. PlayStation is still the best place to crossplay.
Oh, I know.
No, that's not how that works. It's all the same now, you know. So that's somebody really did. I don't know if it was one of you guys. Somebody there was like either a meme or somebody said something like, and it was like, imagine if your mom is like, you need to play with your siblings, right? Your younger siblings, and you're like, I don't really want to, and you finally give in, and you're like, but you know what? I'll play with them, but I'm still the best. Like I'm still better at this game than them, but I'll play with them. Don't worry about it. And that's kind of how it feels, right? Like they're still like
it's a maturity thing. They're
still going literally, we are the best, but we'll allow you to play with us.
Wow.
That's really
good. All that aside, though, honestly, like it's a great thing that they're finally taking this step.
Yeah.
Because it's really only hurt them not to do it. I don't care how much better they think they are. somebody could say they are. Like, it only hurts them at the end of the day to not crossplay, because developers are going to be more hesitant. You know, developers are not necessarily going to want to put their stuff on there as much, or put as much effort into it, or put as much effort to keep them on the same updates and this and that. You know, and like, people are going to be like, well, if I've got to go out and buy a PlayStation or an Xbox, but my friends are on an Xbox, I can't cross-play with them if I buy a PlayStation. Well, I'm going to get a PlayStation. I mean, an Xbox now. Why?
Yeah.
You know? So it's just things like that. So yeah, I think it's great. I'm so glad they're doing it. They are a little snobby for saying we're still the best to play on.
Of course.
But yeah, so that's me.
Chadley, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, it's about time. I mean, eventually, the people basically spoke their mind, and basically Sony had to make a decision. They're like, I guess we got to do it.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, that's the attitude I seem to get from them. Is like, I guess we got to do it because everybody wants it, and if we start seeing drops in sales because of it, I guess we have to do it, type of thing. Or like the analogy that Corey gave is like, it almost kind of reminds me of like a best friend. Like, you have a friend who invites you over to their house to play in their bed, like kid age, like inviting you over, coming into his bedroom and like, yeah, let's play, but oh, don't touch that, and don't touch that, and, yeah, don't touch that. Like, that's how I feel like Sony is. Like, we're allowing you to have access and have crossplay now, but there's gonna still be like gotchas probably, you know.
Yeah.
That with them.
You can only crossplay for an hour at a time.
Yeah. There's gonna be something that comes up that where Sony's like, well, we don't want to do it that way. We want to do it our way.
Yeah, for sure. Murphy, what do you think, buddy?
To me, it was just a matter of time. You know, they got so much crap over that. You know.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, and the whole thing was silly. You know, it was just a matter of time for me. You know, there was so much flack that they got over that, and it was. I mean, it's Fortnite. I mean, it's the game right now. Everybody's playing it. You know. And kind of like how Chadley brought up, I mean, you're looking at eventually sales, you know, and stuff like that. You know, as crazy it may sound, there's people that would go out and buy a PlayStation or whatever just to play Fortnite, you know,
and to play with their friends, whoever they can play with.
Exactly, you know, and that's, I mean, sometimes that's all it takes is that one game to get somebody to go out and I'm finally going to go buy this, you know, and I can't even imagine why they even thought that was a good idea. I just, well, you know, it's crazy. But yeah, to me, it was a matter of time.
Venge, what about you, buddy?
I'm just laughing because I'm thinking of fork, knife for Fortnite.
He said that, fork, knife.
Yeah, thanks to PC. But you know what? It's finally flipping doggone time that they finally did it. Because I mean that's petty. Because like when I looked at like some articles, they actually mentioned, like you guys were saying, like PlayStation felt like they was number one. They felt like they didn't want to do it because of the fact that, hey, they're the best. Why should they do that? Because they feel like that would impede on their number one status. And then another article mentioned how they had the lamest excuse ever as to why they did it. And they were literally saying that they didn't want to expose the younger crowd to outside, you know, influences. But the fact that Nintendo went in on this, that literally made them look like total loons. So now it's like the save face. They got no choice but to do it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, I was as you know, like me personal. I mean, if all the other systems are doing it, it only makes sense to allow it. you know, like just say, let's do it. Cause I mean, we are limiting our own, you know, our own customers.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, their friends may have only an Xbox, right? And so they can't play with their friend unless their friend gets one. And depending on their circumstances, they're going to be reluctant to even do that. And so for them to finally do it, I'm just disappointed that it took that.
Yeah.
It took all of this just to get them to do it. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what you want. It's about the consumer. It's like you can't, companies need to stop thinking about themselves and think about the people that they're servicing. Bottom line.
Yeah, that's true. Derek,
Exactly.
what do you think of this?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Venge 100%. Basically, when they gave the Ghost, I said the same thing, about time, or rather when PlayStation, when Sony gave it the Ghost about cross-platform play, it seemed petty. It just seemed like somebody who they got a fat head too quick, because I mean, like let's be honest, they're pretty much like in the lead right now as far as the 8th generation. And it's such a contrast from when they presented the PS4 and how they were taking shots at Xbox about Xbox wanting to DRM everybody and you weren't able to share games, and then Sony comes and they say this is how you share a game and they hand it off, and then it's just a complete 180 in that behavior that was so consumer conscious.
Yeah.
And I like Fortnite. You guys know I like Fortnite. I've streamed Fortnite a bunch of times, but I haven't really even touched Fortnite like shortly after it came out on the Switch. A lot of the reason was because it was so frustrating to find out. I thought I was doing something wrong, to find out that I couldn't use my account from my Epic account on my Switch, and I kept thinking I was doing something wrong. And then you give it enough time, you start seeing all these videos popping up on YouTube and so on, and all these news articles saying that Sony's basically just bullying Epic into forcing a third-party account that we essentially own, that I've put money in, that we've all put money in, and then I have to make another one. And it's just frustrating because I've invested a lot of time and money into my account that I like to use to play, and then if I can't even use it because Sony's being ridiculous, ultimately, like I've told everybody this, I didn't touch Fortnite almost, probably 98% of season 5. I don't even know what guns they have and stuff. I haven't even messed with it. So I just kind of like low-key boycotted playing Fortnite, even though ultimately it's not Epic's issue, but I kind of lost interest because it's like getting your game erased, when you want to play on one play. Yeah, pretty much. So it's like you had it on Switch, you have Fortnite on Switch, but you still kind of don't if you've been playing already. So it was frustrating, and I'm just glad that they're doing this beta and they're starting it off with Fortnite, and I'm interested to see where Sony is going to take it from here and what games they're going to have cross-platform in the future. And hopefully we're seeing like the horizon of a new type of genre in games where cross-platform is essential, which is good. I think that'd be refreshing for the game industry as a whole. So that's a good step forward.
Oh, for sure. I was super happy when they finally announced that. It's like what Corey said. They were still kind of douchey about it, saying, we're the number one to kind of cross play, but it is about time. Like, it's like you said, Derek, they took a 180 showing, this is how you share games, and then they don't want to share is basically what they're doing.
Yeah, it's just
one of my biggest issues was, as everybody knows, I host every weekend. I try to host sponsor streams, and we were doing a lot of Fortnite on that night. A lot of sponsors were. Our issue was we had a lot of sponsors with PlayStation, and then a lot of sponsors with Switch, and every once in a while I had to be, okay, cut off, and then jump in, cut off, and a lot of them would be like, okay, we'll be right back, leave, and then they wouldn't be able to play because we were still stuck in the game, or they missed their chance to play. So it got really, really, it got really crazy, like that. But now that it's coming back up, it's nice. I mean, I haven't played Fortnite in forever. I stopped playing it because of that biggest issue, and I kind of got tired of it. I played it so much, I got really tired of it, you know. So yeah, that's it. That's all I can say about that.
I'm still having issues linking my account. I'm just throwing that out there. Like as soon as they said cross-platform, I was there for like 2 hours. I was like, I need to get away from this. I'm still Sony. Why Sony? So I still can't. It lets me link my account and then it doesn't work still. So I'm still to this day having issues. I hope nobody else is. Maybe I just need to give it a couple days, but
yeah,
still having issues trying to get my existing account.
I haven't tried.
I haven't even tried. I haven't even tried. Mandarin, relax, man. What's going on with you tonight, buddy? Come on, chill.
What?
Jeez. No.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Usually he's so good at this. I don't know what's going on tonight. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, let's go ahead. Let's talk about this. This actually kind of surprised me. I'm kind of saddened about this, to be honest. But what do you guys take on this whole Telltale closing their doors? I mean, what does this mean? We're talking about a well-known developer. I know they've had issues with their games. I'm not gonna say they didn't, because I mean, I had lots of issues when I was playing Walking Dead, with Batman, all that stuff. But I really enjoyed their games. I enjoyed their stories. And now they closed their doors. So what does this mean? I mean, what do you guys think? Corey?
Oh, man. Okay, so I'll start by saying that I have a lot of the game because I'm not super into that style of game, like that genre, of however you would even explain it, however you would call it. But I am kind of tempted now to go buy all the games because I did play. I played some of the Walking Dead original ones, and I played like the first episode of the Borderlands one, and like the Borderlands one was just off the chain because like that's one of my favorite series of games, and I really enjoyed what they did with it. So like now I'm kind of tempted. There's a lot of places where you can get bundles of them a lot of the time, really good prices.
Yeah.
So I might have to pick a bunch of them up and like do some homage to them.
Yeah.
But it does suck. Like it's really bad that like it's terrible that because they made a statement. They said that their stuff they released this year has been some of the best and like has had the best feedback of all of their games. But unfortunately, that didn't translate to sales. People liked them, but for whatever reason, people weren't buying them. I mean, I'm sure that's got a lot to do with the incredible influx of games that we have at every given moment now these days. Of games coming out every week. You got games coming out, big name games, and it's hard for everybody to get all these games. So
yeah,
it's very unfortunate in my opinion that they're shut down. But they did say there's a good chance that some of their stuff is going to get picked up and worked on by some of their partners. So at least maybe things like they may because I know that they didn't finish up the Walking Dead, right? They just released like season 2 or episode 2 or whatever of the final season or something, but they're not done with it.
Yeah.
So people might get some closure on that. The thing I will say is unfortunate is I feel like they constantly working on expensive IPs.
Yeah.
Like multiple things at a time. Like they're not just working on one. They're working on Batman. Okay. They're working on The Walking Dead. They're working on Borderlands. You pay people to be able to use these IPs in your game to make these. No matter what your deal is or what your profit or whatever, you've paid to use these licenses. So when you're paying to use 3 or 4 different big name licenses, that's a lot of money. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Personally, I don't know. Obviously, I'm not financial anything with any of that, but I feel like that has probably a lot to do with it, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
good points.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Dave, what are you gonna do? Chadley, what are your things about?
Yeah.
Hey, what are you thinks? What are your thoughts about this?
Well, that was just like Corey brings up a good point because I haven't played many of their games, but a lot of their games cover IPs that were in the TV and movie space. And if you want to get those actors to play the roles that they play in the shows or in the movies, just like the Back to the Future one, that one interested me. Like I've seen the game and I'm a huge Back to the Future fan, and I'm probably going to eventually pick that one up, just because it just looks fun, and it continues the whole story from the movies, from what I remember hearing about. But like getting the actor for Doc Brown and stuff like that, like that's not going to be cheap. And it's just like with a movie. If a movie tanks, the actors still get paid, but the publishing company and like the company that they don't make the money. They lose money on the deal. So like this may have happened with Telltale Games. It's just they couldn't bring in the profit that they needed to stay afloat. So
I hear you.
So yeah, but so it's unfortunate, yes, because I mean, a lot of their games I've heard so many good things about, and it's unfortunate when any type of development company has to shut their doors. So
yeah. Murphy, what do you think, buddy? Murphy? Murphy?
He's muted.
He's talking. He's muted.
I've got
we can't hear you.
Yeah. Oh wow, I've never had anybody sing my name before.
So, what are your thoughts on Telltale closing their doors?
Okay. Yeah. I haven't played many other games.
What happened?
I think this
Murphy, come back.
I know of some of them, but I did read the article about it, and
Okay.
He's cutting out.
He's cutting out, in and out.
Oh, yeah.
He only wants to. He
Am I
only,
back?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I've played many other games.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Is it messed up again?
Nope.
No, go ahead.
Maybe he can't hear us.
I think he has a delay.
Oh snap.
Little delay. Okay, well, we'll let you figure that out, Murphy. Don't worry, buddy. We'll get back to you. Venge, go ahead, buddy.
Oh boy, I'm on the fence on. I played a couple of them, and not a whole lot, but when I did play them, they were very. And a lot of the things that Corey said were very valid points, because, you know, it's like if you're paying all of these guys to, and you're paying for the license and paying the actors, well-known actors, by the way, that actually played in those key roles, that's a lot of money. And like you guys mentioned about how you have so many games coming out, like one after the other, and bad timing can really hurt the sales of your game. And it's unfortunate. But I feel like another thing too is like if you look at the past couple games, right, that they've done, it's like, I feel like it also, another cause could be maybe like kind of the lack of innovation, so to speak, because like they follow the same formula time and time again, but it's just based off of some big trending topic that they're going off of. And it's like, that's one of the growing weaknesses of the gaming, like the gaming industry, because you look at all the publishers across the board, and it's like they follow some kind of cookie cutter format and follow things that actually work. And it's like, if it isn't broke, you don't fix it. And so they do what's safe. They don't want to take those chances like indie, game developers would. Yeah. And like, I believe Rigo's the one that touched on this, where if you have someone else try to pick it up, and it can still be alive in some kind of way, it's like, now it's like you have to resort to that. And it's kind of like how indie games is kind of like, this is a whole nother topic altogether, so I don't want to get into that. So, you know, I'll just say this. I mean, innovation can it's big. You got to switch it up every once in a while, you know.
Derek, what are your thoughts about this?
So for me, I actually did have kind of you know, I did have kind of an endearing perspective of Telltale Games. I think that might be because, fortunately for me, I didn't see a lot of the shortcomings in their games because I never played a lot of them. I know they did, you know, Tales from the Borderlands and Game of Thrones and Batman and The Wolf Among Us. They, you know, they did a whole catalog. Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. I only spent time a little bit with Minecraft story mode, which I really got a kick out of. I only did the first episode, and I've been meaning to get back to it. My wife and I, we played it. And then we spent a very big amount of time playing through all the first 3 seasons of Walking Dead. I even talk about Walking Dead season 1 and season 2 on one of my previous edited videos that I had made. Excuse me. And the thing is, I understand that there was a lot of grievances with a lot of other people, a lot of other gamers, a lot of other consumers with a lot of games that were from Telltale Games. I fortunately never really experienced very many issues at all. To be perfectly honest, I never experienced any issues with the first 2, Walking Dead seasons. The first 2 games I thought they were outstanding. I thought they were really well made, and I understand that the engine is one of the big shortcomings. The game engine that they use is a big shortcoming to how they make a lot of games because, you know, after The Walking Dead season 2 was released, shortly after, then you start having games coming along doing the same kind of formula with this make your own narrative, but they start doing it better. Like Life is Strange. I mean, I never played it, but I know everybody loves that game. I've never heard any bad things about that game, and I know it's pretty much the same type of game, you know, at least fundamentally. And then you have what's that other one? I forget the name. The Rush of Blood or something like that.
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn. That's the one. Yeah, they do it similarly, and it's the same kind of game, but they just come along. They do it better because they put in the work. I guess the best way to say it is, you know, Telltale Games just got complacent, which is a killer in any type of line of work, one way or another. And it's just it's kind of a bummer because I really did like season 1 and season 2 of Walking Dead. I was looking forward to playing season 4 once it was completed. Season 3 is when I really started seeing that rigidity and the shortcomings of presentation in that Telltale game specifically. But then that was the first time I actually came across a lot of bugs. I know a lot of people come across a lot of bugs and glitches and stuff in the previous ones. I never had that problem. But in part 3, you know, there'd be, you know, NPCs that would die, that would show up in cutscenes later, and people that weren't supposed to be with you or with you. And it started kind of, you know, rearing its head, and you started seeing what the ugliness of the beast could actually be. So I never got a chance to play any of the other Telltale games. I am a little bummed about it, but at the same time, you know, I mean, anybody could have called it if they're being honest about the situation. The fact that they put too much with, you know, all these other IPs, all these other types of, you know, basically all these other, you know, big names like, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy and so on and so forth. I think really what it was is that's what did it in for them. I mean, like limited run games is another example. They played the smart round. They did it the smart way, where they had to start turning people down to make a limited run physical copy of certain games because they knew it wasn't within their manpower. And you know, and it's translated because they're still doing good and they're still in business. Telltale Games on the other side, on the other hand, rather, it ended up being the death of them. They were on the top. They were, you know, everybody knew about The Walking Dead, and then after the fact, you know, it's because of their ambition and their fame and basically how well that they were doing, which ultimately, you know, they didn't learn from the lessons that would bring them down, and that's basically what happened. I am bummed about it. Clearly, I am a little bummed, but I mean, hopefully, you know, everybody that's in that studio takes it as a you know, a lesson to learn from, and I'm sure we'll see studios from the developers that work there pop up in the near future, and hopefully they'll give us the spiritual successors that we want, and hopefully this is something that is a step in the right direction rather than the wrong. So that's my 2 cents.
There you go.
And then 64.
You know what? You reached me, dude. Your comment, you touched my soul. Honestly, like I'm just telling you, based on what you said, it's like, I can understand how you feel about it now. Because honestly, I'm on the fence mainly because I wasn't really into it. But like I understand it now, and like all the points that was brought up to this point, I gotta really applaud you on that, because like seriously, I feel it now. You make me want to.
I tip my hat off to you, sir. Thank you.
All right, so I just got your message, Murphy. So you're gonna have to go and get ready. That's all fine. No worries, man. I appreciate you taking the time to come and join us this evening. Super awesome of you, man.
Thank you so
really,
much,
really
dude.
great. Take care, man. Have a good one. Thank you again. See you later, buddy.
Corey.
See you, man.
Okay, so let's keep going.
Yeah.
So the next one is okay.
Oh, it's Murphy. My bad. I got confused.
That's all right.
I figured as much.
Murphy? Oh.
So we
But they were okay with me leaving.
So there's been some craziness happening. Let's go ahead and touch this subject. This is a big thing because it involves a lot with government and all that stuff. So loot crates, these loot boxes. So as you guys know, EA so as you know, Belgium asked some creators to get rid of loot boxes in their area, and some of them complied, and of course we have the rebel EA who said no, because Belgium looks at it as gambling. Okay, cool, understandable. Because of this, they took them to court now. So now EA is in court. Now we have 15 countries who are gotten together saying, hey, this is gambling, and we're gonna do some research and look at all of this. So now they're doing an investigation on EA. And Australia, I know for a fact, has gone in and they made their own observations and come up with the conclusion that, yes, this is gambling. It not only helps with people who are addicted to gambling keep their addiction, but brings new people into gambling who have never done it before. You know, younger people, 15 and younger and all that stuff, to feel what it is to gamble and possibly move on to something worse. So they said, yes, I agree that this is gambling. But what they said was, I don't agree with making it illegal in the sense of banning all that stuff. What they did say was possibly doing an age restriction where, you know, you have to be a certain age to buy the game, which I kind of agree with because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a game, it's part of the game, whatever. But again, it is gambling. I feel that EA is kind of just saying, hey, it's not, it's our business, too bad for you. Corey, what are your takes about this? How do you feel about this whole controversy thing? And do you think that EA is right, or do you think they're wrong and they should either get rid of it or just put a big, you know, sign saying, hey, you have to be this age to buy this game, whether you like it or not?
Okay, so there's a lot in this, right? This discussion is about, is it gambling, or do we believe it's gambling or not? This is about a lot, right? So, like, first of all, I will say it's absolutely gambling. You can, you know, you can color it any way you want. Like Steffi said just a second ago, she's like, yeah, she's like, it is gambling. You know, you're always guaranteed what you want, and I agree completely. It's absolutely gambling. There is an addiction to it too. People are spending hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars on their parents' credit cards or whatever, on their own credit cards for that matter, and trying to get that coveted, you know, skin for a character or something. And so it's absolutely gambling. So anyways, that aside, we've already had our discussion about that. I think it's I think they need to do something like that, right? They either need to take them out like they're told, or they do need to put an age restriction, or put like an age restriction behind some kind of verification and age restriction on the game. Maybe it's not on purchasing it, but on actually being able to purchase the loot box, right? Because you have to have a way to pay for those loot boxes.
Yeah.
Other than like the in-game ones, and like the ones you earn in-game, they're gambling, but I don't think that's really what any of us have a problem with, right? Or anybody has a problem with, because you're given those for free. But like, I feel like the ones you literally have to pay, you have to input a credit card or something. Obviously, the fact that you need a credit card or something kind of is a kind of built-in restriction, but not at the same time, because it isn't that hard to grab out your parents' wallet apparently, you know, and do that. We know how that is, you know.
Yeah.
So there's no easy or simple way to solve it, period, other than them just taking it out. And if an entire country's government says, yo, for your game to be like allowed here, you need to take this out. What you're saying by saying, no, I'm not taking this out, what you're saying is you'd rather not make money in that country from the sale of the game, because
I don't want to.
because you just want to be a rebel, right? Because like all you're gonna do is at some game is gonna no longer be allowed to be sold there. Like whether that's what their goal is right now or not, like that's gonna be the end result. They're gonna be like, well, we have this. Our country as a whole has decided that this is gambling, or multiple countries, you know, this union or whatever has decided this is gambling, and we don't want that in games that are sold to minors and stuff, or anybody, because it's terrible addiction. We don't want that here in our country.
Yeah.
Your game can go. Like, we're not going to sell it here. Like, that's all there is. Now you're going, wait a minute, I'm not getting loot box purchases or game purchases.
Yeah. No, I hear
like,
you. Yeah.
I feel like cooperation, while it may, you know, kind of be silly to some people are going to be like, oh, that's them selling out. But it's a business, and they need to make that money. So just cooperate and deal with it, you know? Like,
50% of something's better than 100% of nothing.
seriously. I could probably go on about this for a long time, but that's kind of my overall view, though. Like, I feel like they should just give in and be like, let's take it out for, you know, this country, for these couple of countries where we can at least make sales.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. Like, I feel like that's kind of the bottom line. That or you're dumb.
Yeah, that or you're exactly. Chadley, what do you think, buddy?
Well, they don't want to do that because the game by itself is probably not worth enough.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not like they made that game the old-fashioned way. When you have a game that's really good, you get that one sale, and then that's the end of it. Like, they were really probably banking on the fact that, hey, it's another country that's going to be spending a lot of money on these loot boxes and stuff. Who cares if the game is good?
Yeah.
Everybody, like, yeah. So, and that's where a lot of games have gone with this, the loot boxes, microtransactions, everything. It's like everybody wants to make that quick buck. Everybody wants to make that million, just from microtransactions and stuff. And the loot boxes, like, I stay away from that stuff. I try to stay away from it because I know I'll get myself into trouble.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, okay, so another game that's a good example is Hearthstone. Hearthstone, you can buy packs from Hearthstone. To me, it doesn't seem like it's any different than Pokemon, buying physical packs of Pokemon, because you have no idea what's in the packs. It's a gamble, basically, of knowing what you're going to get. Now, the difference is that with Hearthstone, you can, if you get doubles and stuff like that, you can turn it into dust, and then you can craft your own cards. So there is a little bit of a grind with that as well. Same way with Pokemon cards, physical Pokemon cards. If you have doubles and stuff like that, you can trade them with friends to get cards that you want to get. Things like that. So I guess with the Hearthstone stuff, it's a little bit different. It's not the same as loot boxes, but I guess in the same sense it is, because
It
you are
is, yeah.
you're spending money, you're getting you know you're going to be getting something, you just don't know what.
Yeah.
And it might be something you don't want.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm gonna move because on my screen it goes Corey, Chadley, Derek, and Ben. So that's how I'm gonna do it.
Mix it up now.
Brady Bunch thing going on here.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do now. So
Sorry.
go ahead, Derek. You're next. What are your thoughts on this? And go.
So I got a lot to say about this. First of all, I do think absolutely, 99.9% it is gambling, because I understand and I identify the kind of predatory nature that the infrastructure of the game is made and how they incorporate the ability to access loot boxes via purchasing, like actual hard purchases, to accommodate certain situations that do not give you the allotted time to have a chance to get what it is that you would like otherwise. The best way to explain it, and I've gone over this with my uncle on my Let's Play channel fairly recently. I said that my excuse me, basically, like, for example, Overwatch is a perfect example where you have loot boxes, and I believe just the discrepancy, they're banning paid loot boxes that can actually be purchased with money, with tender, not loot boxes in general, but paid loot boxes.
Yeah.
So I think what it comes down to is that when you make a purchase, it's still random. It's very much unlike Fortnite, where Fortnite itself is free to play to begin with, and you purchase items a la carte, which I think that's the big de facto right there, because there's no gambling involved. You know exactly what it is you're going to get. My issue really comes to shine is in Overwatch. Is the best example I could think of is where they have time events, which I really do enjoy the time events. I really do think it gives you some incentive to play during these times, because you have the incentive of being able to get a themed skin or any kind of additive that you can put towards the character that corresponds with that event. It's cool to have. It's hey, look what I got, because that's why you want to get them. That's why you level up, because you get loot boxes by grinding and leveling up initially. But there's certain instances where the timed events are about a month, right? So a lot of people will argue, oh, well, that's plenty of time. That's plenty of time to get all the things you need. Now, I have a personal experience. I don't know how many of you guys know, but I was in the oil field last year. I was in the oil field. It was a lot of work. It was 16-hour days, that kind of thing. And I was in the oil field during the time of Halloween, where they were doing the Halloween event, where they had a lot of Halloween themed costume skins, which were super cool. But I didn't get a chance to get a lot of them because I didn't have the time to play. I didn't have the time to grind. So that pressure of knowing that I'm not going to have a lot of time to invest in playing the game to grind, that starts bleeding into, maybe I should just buy them, but it's again, the infrastructure is based off of taking advantage of people that don't have the time or do not want to invest the time in grinding or aren't able to. You supplement that by purchasing it. Now, if the game is structured in a way differently, where you can level up more fundamentally by doing so many other different things, like a lot of other games do. Plants vs. Zombies, I think, is like the best example, where there's multiple different. It's a shooter game too, but there's multiple different ways that you can level up, and basically use those levels to actually make purchases and stuff, or not purchases, but rather actually get skins and so on and so forth, loot boxes essentially. But Overwatch, that's like my prime. That's like my prime offender right there that I turn to when I think of loot boxes, paid loot boxes in gaming. I know that that they're trying to legislate it, and now that especially since EA is trying to step on Belgium's toes, by arguing it, I really think it's going to be a real big deal now. And I think EA essentially just shot themselves in the foot, and they might have done collateral damage to a lot of other publishers that that try to bank off of making this, microtransactions and other types of, incentives to trying to make payments, paying for loot boxes, basically what it comes down to. Because not just EA, but a lot of other publishers do that. But if it comes to fruition where Belgium does deem them guilty for having in-game gambling, then it's going to end up affecting EA as long as many other publishers. And here's another thing too. And I know I keep going on, but I also worked. Here's another thing. I also worked at Xbox Live. And you have a lot of kids that use their parents' cards and purchase a whole bunch of any other in-game currency. And one of the big things they tell you when you're working for Xbox Live, can't refund in-game currency. You cannot refund in-game. I had parents call in, and my son spent $1,000. My daughter spent.
Keep better eye on your kid.
Off the chart. And that was a lot of calls. That was a lot of calls, and you can't refund it. You could probably refund them a partial amount, but the bulk of it is going to be retained. And I really, that's where it comes to my perspective, that I feel like a lot of the nature is predatory, because a lot of kids have immediate access to make a lot of these purchases, but again, those policies weren't enforced by Xbox, but by the publisher. Now we have to stand by it. So again, for instance, EA, people make a lot of purchases, kids make a lot of in-game purchases for loot boxes and so on. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, ma'am. We can't do anything about it. Have you gotten any refunds before? Sorry, we can't touch it. And it would be terra firma. And I really think that that's really what the whole infrastructure is based on. Let's see how many people call in and complain about getting returns. Let's see how many people are just going to have to let it go and see how much they already spent. That's our money in our pocket anyways, Yeah. So I think it really is, it is gambling. It's predatory. It's negative. And I think EA opened a whole bigger can of worms by trying to fight it. So, I mean, that's my 2.5 plus 64 cents.
Awesome. Ooh, that was long, man. That was a lot. Hey, at least you gave a lot of information. So, I mean, personally, it explains a little bit more, and it puts a little bit more perspective in what we're dealing with here. And most people are just like, loot boxes, I love them, but they don't really see the bigger picture. And yes, I mean, I can tell you, I was one of those parents firsthand. I mean, I woke up one morning, took a look at my phone, and it said, you spent $180 on Fortnite. I'm like, $180.
That's
and
just like that.
Little man.
Yeah. Turns out little man was clicking buttons, found something that he wanted, and bought it. Right, and I couldn't get my. I couldn't get the money back. Yeah, that's it.
And that's the calls. That's the calls. Like my son, and it's there's like little maybes, like maybe you can, maybe you can't. Sometimes you do an escalation if you're familiar with that, but it's all a bunch of maybes. There's never a definitive time where you can, and 3 out of 4 times you're not going to get the money back.
Yeah, no,
that's what
true.
it comes down to.
I didn't get it back. I lost it. Okay, so let's go ahead. I mean, we're already at the 2-hour mark, but I got one, two, three more questions, and then just a couple of viewer questions, and then we can end it like we always do. Let's go ahead and jump. This one's gonna be a short one, I think. Fallout beta is coming out in October. I mean, we're doing online beta testing. This is exciting for a lot of people. I also heard that they said it's too late for crossplay now, so there you go on that one. But what do you guys think of Fallout beta? Are you guys excited? Is anybody gonna try it? And is anybody ordering the game? And go. Go ahead.
Okay, so in order to, first of all, in order to get in the beta, you have to. That's the stipulation of the beta.
Yeah.
So goes hand in hand anyway. I probably will pre-order it. If nothing else, I'm gonna go to GameStop and drop $5 on it to check it out.
Yep.
And see, because I'm pretty curious about the game. I don't know a whole lot of.
Yeah.
Like an online sort of player-created experience, not player-created, I don't know, like a player-run experience, kind of, right?
Yep.
From my understanding, it's almost like an MMO, but like it's all players. it's kind of how somebody described it. Again, I don't really know a whole lot of anything about it, so I could be completely wrong. But that's how somebody described it to me. That's going to be kind of like an MMO sort of, but really all players. And that sounds kind of cool to me. Sounds like a neat concept. I love Fallout. I played the crap out of Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. Never played the earlier ones, but those two I've played the heck out of them and love them. So I'm really excited for it. So yeah, other than that, there's not a whole lot else to say. Excited.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. Chadley, what about you, my friend?
I haven't really looked into Fallout 2 terribly much. Is that coming to the PC too, or is it mainly console?
I
think it should
believe.
be on PC.
Yeah, I believe Fallout 70.
Fallouts are always on PC.
I think they're all
Okay.
coming out on
Okay.
PC.
I've
90% sure.
never touched. Yeah, I've never touched any of the Fallout games, but this one, I don't know. I mean, I might take a peek at it, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know much about the games, so I really don't have much to say about them. Yeah.
Derek, what about you, buddy?
Fallout hates me. I'm gonna put that out there right now. I'm gonna put that out there. I've tried to play Fallout 3 so many different times, and on different consoles, it does not want to work.
Yeah.
So I'm not really. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Please don't put the crosshairs on me, but I'm not
Can we
really.
kick this guy? I'm just kidding.
I'm not really interested, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I could change in the future, but I don't got an opinion right now.
For sure.
That's fair.
Benj, what about you, buddy?
Okay. I think we know what noise a goat makes, right? Meh.
Yeah.
No offense to anyone in the Fallout. I just never.
That's funny. Well, I mean,
Maybe-
everybody's entitled to their own opinion, you know. Even cool. No, I'm just kidding.
I can I can tell you that I played Fallout 3. I got really far in Fallout 3. I was super stoked about Fallout 3, and then it glitched out and I had to start all over again and I got mad at it.
That's Fallout
Then
3.
yeah. And then I jumped into Fallout Vegas. I got far in Fallout Vegas. I was super stoked about Fallout Vegas. And then it glitched out and I had to start all over again. I mean, so it comes down again. Am I gonna? I didn't pick up the fourth one, and I said I'm gonna pick up maybe this one because I like the whole online thing, the whole idea of playing co-op. I'm just worried that I'm gonna pick it up, gonna get very far,
And it's gonna drop you.
and then it's gonna drop me. I mean, it seems to be a reoccurring thing with Fallout, but I could be wrong. I mean, for all I know, they fixed all the issues and it's gonna work. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, I haven't pre-ordered it yet.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I have a friend who's gonna let me try it out, and we'll see if it works out. I
You
mean,
can come over here and try it with me.
boom, right there.
Yeah.
Taking next flight out.
Done. Done.
There you go.
Fallout. Boy.
All right, this is. Let's see. Okay, this is a question that Murphy sent me. Unfortunately, it sucks because he won't be able to answer for us. But question for you guys, just a random question out there. For if you could choose a character in Smash Bros. Ultimate, who would it be? Like, if you got to choose one character that you get to play as,
Add.
yeah, or to add
To him?
to add
Okay.
to, yeah.
Not that again.
Who would you choose? Like, what? This is just a random question, just because I want to throw out before we get to the big question, the big one. So who would you choose, Corey?
Gino.
Boom.
Gino gets no love. Well, not no love. He got love in Smash 4, right? He got
Yeah.
constant. So, but other than that, he got no love. And he's like one of my favorite characters from Mario RPG, which is like my favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
So the fact that like I wouldn't even be saying this if I didn't believe it could possibly be true. But he got love. So that's my choice, right? Like, I think Gino, man, he got that little arm cannon. Kind of like Mega Man, only his hand folds down.
What about you, Chadley?
Oh man, of a character to add.
Like, if you got to choose one character, any game, doesn't have to, any game.
Oh man, that's tough. That's
I
tough.
know.
Come back to me. Come back to
All
me. Nothing's coming to mind because there's so many characters already.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'd probably just pick Yoshi anyway. So.
What about you, Derek?
Goku. No, I'm not one of the Goku.
Goku.
I'm not one of the go-to people. I was thinking, man. You know, I really wanted. Majora's Mask is my favorite game. It's the game that made me name my daughter Zelda. So, I always had like an affinity for, you know, Skull Kid. I thought Skull Kid would be cool, but he's a assist trophy now, pretty much. So I'd either have to say like either Zant from Twilight Princess or Demise, who's the final boss for Skyward Sword. I guess those are gonna be my two picks. I think they'd be cool
for sure. What about you, Venge?
That is so daggone hard. But okay. This one's for my viewers.
He's like, this is for my homies.
This is for my viewers because I know they want me to say it.
Goombella, eh?
No Bells had love from anyone yet?
I'm done right now.
That's it. Done.
Hey, that was a beautiful voice, by the way.
Man, if I had to choose any character to go in, any character, you know who would I pick? I would like to see Tifa from Final Fantasy VII be in that game.
I'd be down for that. That'd be cool.
Because you know what? They have Cloud and Tifa are hand in hand, and she does a lot of like hand-to-hand combat. I think it would be epic to see her really kick some butt. You know, I think it would be a really good character.
Yeah,
for sure. Look at that! Look at
just gonna start bleeding out his nose like an animal.
Right? That would be a good character.
Miniskirt, right? That one.
We'll keep it rated G. We go with the Advent Children version without.
Yeah, we're talking high poly and everything. Poly, Laura Croft, you know.
Laura Croft version.
This is gonna be like HD.
Right?
I heard it here first. Spanishdude
demonetized.
Wow. You think of any one of them, Chadley? Or
no.
You're good. Okay.
No,
all right.
I'm good.
Let's get to the big question now. Nintendo Online service has been out, guys, for like what, 2 weeks or so? It's been, everybody's gotten to experience it firsthand. How are you guys enjoying it? What are your thoughts on it? What would you change? And is it worth it? Are you guys like, do you think it's worth paying it, like now that you're doing it? So let's go ahead and start this with Corey, because he's wiggling those eyebrows like I'm ready.
Dude, I got thoughts on this, right? So like, first of all, I'm gonna say I haven't played online a whole bunch yet. I've played, you know, Mario Kart a couple times online, like for the online tournament and for, you know, and a few times I've done that, and I've done the NES online stuff a couple times, and I had an absolutely super smooth experience with it. But that's not different than my personal experience prior to the online service. Okay, I've had very few disconnects. Like I know so many people that are like getting communication errors in Mario Kart all night while we're doing the tournament, right? But I don't usually get them. I don't know what the real deciding factor is there, but I don't. So it's not really much of a difference for me. But I have seen things that still point to obviously the fact that they're still using peer-to-peer, right? No, we're not using dedicated servers yet. The NES Online, Crispy tried to play with somebody here in the States, and it was atrocious. It was just a crapshoot. I mean, it was bad for latency issues. Like just for like their Wi-Fi connection would be back and forth and just was terrible. So clearly still on peer-to-peer, which we knew. I was hoping they would kind of make us, you know, they'd flip that switch and we'd be on dedicated server. We're not. Then there's the whole cloud save thing, right? Which the only thing that really bothers me is that certain games, like say Splatoon, are not going to be. They were never designed with the online service in mind, which they should have been. So the online, I mean, Splatoon's reasoning, they said that they're not doing the, you know, they're not supporting cloud save with Splatoon because you could do like cheating and stuff. You could basically hack your, you know, you could lose a rank, restore your save, and then be back at that high rank. Because Nintendo was dumb and didn't program it in a way that like saved their certain information and stuff to like a server, right? Even if you're not using dedicated servers for everything, There's user that kind of information, rank information, and stuff like that should be tied to a server. It should not be sitting on your Switch, which it is.
Yep.
So that's a whole nother like a big conversation I could have about that. But yeah, so that's like if you asked if there's something like I would change about it, that is something like that, right? Where we're using dedicated servers and all games support it. I know it's kind of up to the developer, but it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like because again, I do understand that particular reasoning, right? Like I get it because of the way it was designed. I understand that. I am a developer. I get it. And even if not a developer, it's not that hard to understand that particular logic. But they should have designed it differently. But just yeah, I think that they should switch over to like dedicated servers and like PlayStation and Xbox have their cloud saves on a system OS level.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you go into a system menu and you click, you know, your cloud save functionality, and then it lists you all the saves on and you can choose what to do with them. Upload them, download them, delete them, whatever. But on the Switch, you have to either like it only starts uploading once you have, you know, played that game or like launched the game once. It'll start doing that, and it's not an OS level thing. It's an individual level, which is so dumb. Like you should be able to go to the menu and go save all my saves because it's still a freaking file system. It's still there. And so you should be able to do that. And so that's my real major gripe is that cloud saves are not at the OS, and they should be.
Yeah.
I got a memory card. I just put my memory card.
There you go. But
You go.
you can't do that.
Put it in my
doesn't-
controller.
Yeah, put it at the bottom of your controller. There you go. I'll take it.
Cadley, what do you think, buddy?
So far, like, I tried playing the online part of it for the first time with Epic Potato, and that was a blast. Like we're not that far from each other, so the latency wasn't really that bad at all.
Right.
And I mean, I had a blast being able to play online with him on an NES game like that. You would normally have to sit in the same room together. And I've had a little bit of experience with like Mario Kart and stuff like that, and same way with Corey. Like I haven't had many disconnects. I think I had maybe one disconnect when I was racing with my daughter, the one stream and things like that. But the overall experience doesn't feel any different than what it was when it was free. So I'm really hoping that Nintendo has something planned now that we're paying for it. Like all this money should be going into research and development on how they could make it better, introduce dedicated servers, like maybe grow the cloud saves to something that it should be, like Splatoon 2, where they have it's already set up where one account has one save file. It can't be that hard to say this save file is going to be tied to your Nintendo ID. And the Nintendo ID is linked to a server that saves the data. Like it's not that hard, and there would be no cheating because it actually wouldn't be tied to cloud saves.
Yeah, exactly.
That it doesn't have to be tied to the cloud save. It needs to be tied to your Nintendo ID.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't matter what account. Like you can log into any Switch you want.
Yep.
And you have your rank. You have all of that stuff. So it's like it's a no-brainer. It's done in so many different games already. Like, just do it already.
Yeah.
Just change. Like, you can change it, or at least come out and say, "Don't worry. When Splatoon 3 comes out, we don't have to worry about all this nonsense." Like, at least say like it's in the works.
Right.
Yeah. No.
But-
I hear you.
Yeah. So I mean, my main thing is I hope they take the money that they're getting from the online service and continue to like mature the like experience, I guess. Like really put some thought into like what do we want to have out of this service so that people really want to feel like they're getting their money's worth. Because right now you're getting NES games, cloud save, and the same crappy internet service that you had when it was free. So that's basically what you're getting. $20 a year for NES games and cloud save.
Yeah.
It's something that you already had before.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
yeah. So yeah.
I hear you. Derek, what are your thoughts on Nintendo Online service?
Well, to be honest, I mean, I really haven't messed with it too much. I would say, I mean, if you compare it to the contemporaries, I mean, I'd say the price is right, but I've always had a very not great experience with internet when it comes to Nintendo. I mean that's going back to like the Wii days. You know, I mean it's just it could be one extreme of this, one extreme of this, but more often than not, I was always just lag input, frame drops. I remember trying to play with Potato on his stream doing Smash. I know that's like fairly unrelated, but that's kind of what I equate it to. It's just like they're just how you play with them pretty much when you use their internet service. I think the NES games, I think that's just kind of not good. I'd say the biggest thing that I think is cool, and I know emulators are already doing this, but I think it is a cool approach where you could play multiplayer on old school NES games online.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that's pretty cool. Cloud saves, I mean, kind of going off the coattails of what Chadley said, is that I know, at least as far as I know, again, going back to Xbox, I know the 360 kind of had the same thing, where if, I don't know if you guys remember like the old arcade 360s versus like when they started bringing the S models and stuff, there was a device where you could transfer all your information, including your saves, from the hard drive of the old arcade 360 to the newer S models, the slims essentially. And I bought that not realizing that not until the time that I had used it that they already established a thing where you just upload your saves to the cloud they had made way after the fact. So I mean, again, kind of going off what Chelly said, I mean there might be a possibility where Nintendo, even though Nintendo is Nintendo and they don't like to budge for nobody hardly ever, that still kind of puts it out there that they might end up that they always could in the future change it to where they make cloud saves easier to deal with. I mean, as for me, I haven't really, I don't even have PlayStation Plus, so I'm not planning on getting it until I'm actually going to use it. Until then, I really don't got too much of an opinion on it. I don't want to pay $20 for some NES games I probably already have or could care less about playing. I mean, said for a few, but I mean
that's understandable though.
Yeah, but then even on top of that, I just if I pay for it, it better work. If I pay for it, it better work right. It better, I better be able to get all the things I said. And like I said, $20 is oh wow, there you go, NES. I mean, I guess
no different. Like you said, it's no different than this thing. There's only a few games on this people want to play, but they have to pay the full price just to play those few games. So.
And then you have to check in every week like you're visiting your PO. It's just come on now. You got to check in with my PO and make sure that I can get my NES games. It's just that's where I'm at. So that's my 2 cents.
Benj, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, you know what? Like, I got a chance to experience like firsthand during a live stream. I really wasn't had no intentions on doing it yet, but it gave me an opportunity to do like a little test run. And like I said, like the highlight of the online service is the ability to actually play NES games with someone, from a way somewhere else. Like it doesn't have to be just limited to couch, which is a really awesome thing, but and I enjoyed it thoroughly, but there is that latency issue that everyone mentioned, because I could say that if I was to compare playing it offline or online, it was a huge difference. But when I did play it online with one of my viewers, it was actually Super Nick. And Super Nick, I'll just give him a lot of credit. He's a very smooth player, even under the situations of lag. It was a slight lag. It wasn't horrible. But for me to literally die to, like the little Koopa boss at the end of like the castle level so easily, and that was only World 2, and I never died by that before. I mean, like, that's a hello, red flag, but still, it was a good experience. But like, if we're gonna pay money, they have to improve on things, and they need to take the opportunity to upgrade and enhance, because I mean, like Chadley said, he touched on it. Honestly, if you was to go and play Mario Kart, it doesn't feel any different, because like, I know when I played with the online service, it didn't feel any different. Like, I never really experienced a lot of drops or anything. But the menacing thing is, like, Nintendo, they're charging us for this, and they're not even really, they're kind of like taking their sweet time to address the issue of people that's literally able to hack into the games and abuse, and abuse the matches. Like, they're literally cheating, and it's ruining the fun for other people. And that's something that must be addressed, especially if they're charging. And another thing is, don't drop the ball on this whole NES online thing, because if they drop virtual console like they did, I mean, it'd be a bummer if they drop something like this NES thing, because this could expand into something bigger, especially with the online scene. And imagine them being able to expand it to 64. They would expand it to Super NES before 64, but imagine if they did that. That would be amazing. But once again, it's going to be, like Chadley said, it's going to take a lot of research, and if they put in the time and effort, they can turn this into something that's beyond, what everyone else is doing, something different. Because, I mean, the only thing that's different is the fact that the price tag isn't a killer, but is it worth it? I don't know. I'm kind of like 50-50,
No, for sure. So here's the thing. The price is different here in Canada, obviously. Costs a little bit more.
What?
After
everything,
after the conversion rate and everything.
Yeah. So after playing with it, like I said, I got it. I got to try it out with a couple of different games, and I got to try co-op with some friends. And the only thing that made the co-op a little bit bearable was the fact that they added a low latency feature. But the fact of the matter is that shouldn't even be a question. That should have been just added simply out of the box, because the low latency helps with that delay, that button delay. But the lag could be atrocious if you have. I played with someone who's not from this from the United States or from Canada. They were overseas in, I think, Colombia, and we tried playing Mario because he begged me to play. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And we tried, and the jump, like, it would jump, and I would wait a little bit because he was frozen on screen, and I'd be dead. Because of the delay was so long and so bad.
That's gotta be so frustrating.
It is, right? So we stopped after like a minute. I mean, I played with other friends where we've gotten really far and we've beaten games and stuff because it's been great. I would have loved to get, like, I thought we were gonna get surprised and be like, dedicated servers, boom, there. We spent the money, we got a couple of dedicated servers. There it is.
A couple of them. We got 3 dedicated servers.
Yeah, well, something like that, right? It's like, here's a couple
the
of
whole world.
But I mean, it's like we didn't get anything. We're still on the same internet, and like as Chadley said, I hope that they're gonna turn around and be like, okay, we got some money, we're gonna go ahead and start doing some dedicated servers. This is what you're gonna get. This is exciting. For me, the NES little bundle thing they offer, it worked out nice because I don't have an NES Classic. I didn't buy one. I couldn't jump on it when it came out. But I mean, if that's all I'm really getting for it, I'm not kind of happy about it, because then I could have free. We had it free before, and I'm hosting the internet anyways. I might as well just have it for free, right? I mean, I'm not too proud of it. The only thing that kind of worked out for me was me and a couple of friends, we all talked and we said, hey guys, do you want to buy a family pack? Let's all do this. So we bought the family pack. We all invited each other, and it turned out to be a lot cheaper doing it that way than buying it on my own. So it was a win-win in that case. But I think they still need to work a little bit on this online service. I mean, some people are like, it's the best thing ever. For me, it's not. They need a lot of work. They need they have to take example from PlayStation, Xbox, because they're
they've been doing it right for so long.
Yeah, they've been doing it for so long. They need to look at them and be like, okay, here, let's do it like this. How come we can't get it like this? What are we doing wrong? Yeah. But instead they're just like, we want to be on our own. We're doing it like this. Too bad for you. You know, that's what it feels like. But I mean, that's just my opinion. Some people, everybody can have their own opinion, right? Okay, guys, so we're at the end now. We're gonna answer some of the questions that viewers asked. So this one's more for me, Chadley, and Corey. Ben, unfortunately, you just started, so. But he says, how do we choose who's gonna be on the podcast? So for some of you, you don't know. Basically, how it works is there are 4 core members of the group. There's myself, Chadley, Corey, and Louis. In this case, Venge has taken over Louis' spot for now while he's away, so he's going to be part of the core member. I go around and ask. I know a list of streamers I want to invite, so I go through that list. And there are some streamers who ask me right away privately, I want to be on the podcast, so I don't mind inviting them. Once I have it, I kind of mention it to Chadley and Corey. Hey, what do you think of these people? And I get their input, and they tell me, you know what, they could be a little mouthy. You know what, they're too aggressive. You know what, this and that. And that
begged.
Yeah, I begged. So that helps me really come down to who I'm gonna invite. Once we make this initial decision, I send the invites out, and it happens, guys. It happens all the time. Where in this case today, it happened. We had someone who was gonna come in, and he felt uncomfortable because he wasn't prepared, and he didn't really know much about Nintendo and what was going on in the news world, because you have to be prepared for that. You have to be on top of the news and what's going on. And so he was like, I'm sorry, I don't want to be that guy, but I'm gonna back out. So luckily for us, we already had some people that we were interested in inviting, and we got a response, and we were able to get the group in together, and we were able to move on. So that's how usually we initially pick our people. We give about a month's notice, and we're able to kind of adjust ourselves to what we need to do. Yeah. So it works out nice.
Rigo got that auto tune going on.
Yeah, you guys will hear it, but on chat, on stream they'll hear my regular voice. Thank goodness.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one is, I know this isn't a question about the PlayStation Classic. Do you think that Nintendo made a mistake releasing some of the same games from NES Mini to their online system? So that kind of touches on what you said, Chadley, but in my opinion, I think they didn't, because again, I don't have an NES Classic, so it helps it helped me kind of get into the games that I've never really tried, or I never even played. Like, I can't remember that balloon game, the one where you're a little character and you're
fight.
Yeah, I got to try that for the first time, and I thought that was the best thing ever. I was so happy. Corey, what do you think of that?
Well, I'm kind of with you. I don't think that it was a mistake or anything. I'm pretty sure that like the online service with its NES games, with its limited NES game selection, and I'm not saying limited in a negative way, but it is limited. It serves a different audience, and there may be an overlap in audience. Obviously, the target audience isn't necessarily the same as the people who Nintendo is targeting for the NES Classic, with its also limited, but in a different limitation, with a different limitation of NES game, right? So like you've got, at the moment, we're gonna use today as our example. Today you have 20 games in the NES online service. That is a monthly or yearly purchase, which is cheap, but it's there, right? And you have to have a Switch to access it, obviously. And for the Classic, you have, for now, it's not so bad. Like I went into the 2 different Walmarts by me in the last couple of weeks, and they're just abundant. They have so many NES Classics and SNES Classics, it's ridiculous. But for a while, it was kind of hard to get. So if the production of those kind of falls down a little again or whatever, or get the games that might overlap that you're looking for could be there. But also, again, it's really just a different target audience, a different demographic, in my opinion. You got the collectors, you've got the older generation that grew up with NES. On the Switch, you've got a lot of the younger and some of course the older people. Like you've got the younger generation that get this now because they have to have the online if they want to play Mario Kart stuff online anyway. Now they're gonna get to check this out, and it's different. I feel like it's just a different demographic. So I don't think there was a mistake at all. I think they know what they're doing, despite what anybody will say. Like Nintendo don't know what they're doing. No, Nintendo still knows. Like the decisions might not always be perfect or apparent to us, but they still know in certain decisions. You know, they know what they're doing. So like, I don't know. I don't think it was a mistake. I think it's good.
Yeah, for sure. Chadley, what do you think, buddy?
Yeah. So basically, I when you guys were talking about this, I had the idea of like, hey, this is nothing new for Nintendo to bring out their classic games over like on one system and then bringing it to another system and then bringing it to another system and then creating its own mini system. And then so like because you had the Wii Virtual Console, which has NES games, then you had the Wii U, which basically allowed people to play games in Wii mode, but then they offered those exact same games on the Wii U Virtual Console so that they could play it on the gamepad. So they didn't have to be on the TV. They could do it on the gamepad. Now we have the same NES games coming to the Switch, allowing you to be portable with those games.
Yep,
It's true.
And also being able to play online, doing the online multiplayer as well. So like in each iteration, they've introduced a new way of playing those games. So if you kind of look at it that way, it's like, and this time we're not really, I mean, we're paying for it, but it's not like we're at least paying $5 a game, you know?
Yeah.
So it's $20 a year. So, and you're going to be getting more games as the service matures.
Yeah.
So that price per game is going to keep decreasing. So like, and if it's the same game that I have on the Wii U, like I would still rather play it on the Switch because now I can do multiplayer with somebody else.
And
So
it's completely portable, like you said earlier too.
yeah. Because you can go offline with these games. It's
Yeah,
not
you
like
got
you
7
have to
days.
be on. Yeah, it's not like and maybe
Till it dies.
and who knows? Maybe they'll change that because it is kind of silly. Where if I have the yearly annual subscription, it shouldn't check in 7 days. Like I could understand if you have the free trial. If you have the free trial, I understand. 7 days it checks to see if you got the membership on another Switch or something like that, you know, because you can log your account into multiple Switches. So technically, you could purchase the online service on a different Switch.
Yeah.
So then the other Switch would have to check to make sure it knows that your account is actually a paid account. So, but 7 days just seems kind of like very it's too often.
Yeah, for sure.
I can see that.
Derek, what do you think, buddy?
I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, Chadley, I guess, put it into perspective. I mean, I think, I guess I'm just a little disappointed that that's pretty much all they did was just a handful of NES games. I mean, like, by no means are they bad, but I mean, I'd probably only play like a handful out of them. It's frustrating. It's kind of frustrating when I think about all, like, the entire catalog, the entire Nintendo catalog that they have at their disposal, and they're always so lean with how they release the content to be available for purchase. And to be honest, despite the fact that I'm such a purist when it comes to games, I mean, I got them on my desk right now and everything, but with the way that the Switch is, it does really present an interesting type of, you know, recreational way to approach how to play these games differently than, you know, the more conventional way of just, you know, playing on a TV or what have you. It gives it a lot of dynamic. I mean, that's what's brilliant about the Switch. And that's what gets kind of frustrating is it's already a year in. They introduced their online paid, you their online paid, online services, and then I'm just kind of seeing a foreshadow. Now I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, but I mean, I think over the span of 10, 12 years on the Virtual Console, they only released on the Wii barely 100 NES games, or 100 Nintendo games between NES, Super NES, and 64.
Yeah.
So I mean, considering how much games there are, I don't want them to kind of repeat that process again, because the way that the Switch handles is enough of an incentive for me to actually buy these games a second time on my Switch versus playing them on original hardware, because being able to play it portably in a dynamic way where I don't have to be just strictly playing it portably, I have that choice. That's enough for me to decide otherwise. The fact that it's not a mistake or bad that they have the same games on the online service versus the classic, or the NES Classic, because again, it's like Corey said, it's a different market. I think a different type of consumer is going to be buying the NES Classic versus a Switch, first and foremost. So I just it's fine. I'm not too psyched about it, because it just seems like they're kind of going through the motions again with their patterns. I want them to kind of start bringing more games onto the front, especially if they're going to start cutting down ROM sites at the knees and stuff. Like, I don't mess with ROMs, but at the same time, they're not really giving a lot of other people choices when there's a bunch of under the radar games that people are probably never going to play because the way Nintendo's actions have taken. I want that to be the opposite. I want them to incorporate all these games that they have, and then some that they're able to do on the online services in the near future, if at all possible. So that's my point. That's where I stand as far as the games on the online services at this point in time. So
yeah, Venge, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, so many good points, honestly. Like, when the way I look at it, like, I feel like it's pretty, I love it. Like, is it perfect? No. Like, when I look at the online service, I feel like they have the right idea, but they're moving through this slowly. And it's like, my biggest concern when it comes to the service is they cannot do what they did in the past, because they were known for, okay, we're going to do this. Then they dropped the idea. And then we're going to do this, and we drop this. And it's like, you can't do that now, especially since they have so much momentum. They're really going to have to continue to build on this, because they got so much at their disposal at this point. Yep. And then you look at how fans are, how dedicated some fans are when they themselves would build things that Nintendo or any other developer never did. Yeah. One example, if anybody's familiar with the Streets of Rage series, you have the game known as, I think it was called Streets of Rage Remake or something like that. And they literally fuse all three games into one and completely expanded on it, where there's branching paths, new levels, moveset has been tweaked, and even all of the music has been completely redone.
So a total remaster.
Yeah, it's exactly
it's like a total recall.
Right. And seeing that, it's like, wow, this is kind of like the Sonic Mania of beat 'em ups, sort of speak. Yeah. And so
gotta go fast.
So I know, right? So they do gotta go fast. They cannot move slowly with this. They're gonna have to have news at least every few months of something new that they're gonna offer, not this crap that they served up with, like that special offer of controller. Oh my! Something that you can buy from a store.
but
Like,
only if you have the subscription.
Exactly.
Yep.
Where I mean, that's something that anyone should be able to buy. Why do you have to purchase a subscription just to get this thing? That
Well, to be fair, the only I'm not justifying it, but the feeling I get is that they're only going to work for the NES games. Only work well, kind of like only tested and approved for the NES games. Well, think about it though. Think about it. They're only going to have 2 buttons.
will it fix the lag though?
No.
Ah.
But think about that. If they're designed to basically only work with games that are all play if you have a subscription, it does kind of make sense that you need that. But it still seems like a strange restriction. No, I mean it does. I think it's a strange restriction, but I can understand how it came to be that way.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying I'm justifying it or I'm okay with it, but I can understand how it came to be that way. Because again, why let you purchase it if you can't? You know what it is? It's scalpers.
Yeah.
About it. If they limit you to 1 set per account, first of all, per online account, which is weird. But they limit you to 1 per account. I mean, and they only let you buy them if you have an account.
Yeah.
It's got to be to avoid the scalpers from buying all of them and reselling them for double. Because it's a good way to stop that.
Yep.
Yeah, but I agree with that. You're right. I can see that, but still.
But it's still weird. I agree. It's still a strange thing, but I can understand how they got from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got sidetracked a little.
Walmart was selling the NES classics for like $500 because the scalpers were getting away with it. I can see. I mean, even if.
Okay, so that's actually Walmart wasn't selling this, by the way. Walmart has like an eBay. I mean, like an Amazon.
Okay.
You go online and you see anything that's on or Amazon, right? That's not retail price. It's actually someone else.
Yeah, third
selling
party.
it. It's a third party. Walmart
We got a raid, guys.
Raid.
Welcome, Raiders. How's it going? Golden, what's up, buddy? How you doing, buddy? What were you playing, my friend? I know what you were playing. You were playing Mario 3 on the NES, so that's awesome.
Speaking of.
Yeah, I know, right? There it is. Actually, believe it or not, a funny story about this. I was looking for a raid target, and I clicked on his, and then he was just leaving. So that's funny. So there we go. We got raided. That's funny. Welcome, graders. Welcome. Okay. Let's quickly. I cut you off.
Bench.
Corey. Bench or Corey? Who was talking last?
I was talking, but that was a discussion for.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, Bench, finish up, buddy.
I think that's kind of cool. My biggest concern is just that they cannot sleep on this. They cannot take their sweet time, because like you say, they got the momentum. They have to keep it. They have to keep people interested. And right now, if we don't get any kind of additional information before the end of this year on what they're going to do next, it's like they're shooting themselves in the feet. In the foot.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Well, I feel probably another great success on the podcast. I'm super happy with the result. The turnout was incredible. We reached 65 likes in 2 hours. That's amazing. Thank you all. Venge, Corey, Chadley, Derek, thank you very much for participating as our special guest. Super
happy to be
awesome.
here, man. Thank you so much for letting me come on the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for coming on with us, man.
Yeah, thank you. Guys, we're gonna go on a raid. We have 27 people watching us. So let's go ahead, and I got someone we're gonna raid. He's a good friend of mine. He's been on the podcast a little bit. Once I push this button, everybody's gonna stay on. I'm not gonna do the goodbye one, because if I push that one, it'll turn everybody invisible and it just shows me, and that's not fair. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna put but this will cover everybody's face. So hopefully you guys don't mind. We're gonna go ahead and
raid.
We're gonna do Taco Cast raid. We're gonna raid.
I was gonna suggest him.
That's not potato.
We're gonna do Epic Potato. Let's go ahead and do that. There is his link. It should come out. There you go. So everybody, please click on that link and let's go to Epic Potato and give him a nice raid. I'm gonna turn on his voice.
Hit this dare.
I can't get his thing there. Let's see if he notices.
Boy, if I kill you
don't
in the
call
right
the
armor,
way.
He's going to town.
lol, I'm gonna kill him in the right armor.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Almost.
Yeah.
I almost got him in the right armor. Taco Cast Raid. What's up, CC Gaming? Welcome back.
Oh, and he's playing
Hello, Steffi. Hello, Jesse.
one of my
Hello,
favorites.
Chadley.
Sure to hit that like, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
That like
Mega Man
Gotta hit that like
X4,
button.
boy.
I
Nice.
did not know that. Thank you.
Nice
for
aggressive
actually-
raid. All right, guys. Thank you all very much for raiding. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you again for joining us. Join us next month, guys, for another Taco Cast. This was a great success. I really enjoy having these conversations with you guys, having this
Definitely.
conversation with the
It was
viewers.
an honor.
Oh yeah, it brings us all together, and that's what, you know, we're just a great group of community and family. And I mean, you know what, there's more to come, guys. It's been great. It's been great, guys. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good night, guys.
Have a
Take
blessing.
care. I love you all, and don't forget the most important thing in the whole wide world: come to my live stream. I'm super famous. Take care, guys. Have a
He's
good
super
one.
famous.
Bye.
Super famous.
Bye, everybody.
Peace out.